by far the best performing new organization, and they've been consistently winning games in kind of these late games, right? They have always been able to play patiently towards the late game. They have been incredibly proficient in that regard, and a lot of it has been about their interactions with Cody Sun, about how they play around crit marksman. Ssumday kind of creates pressure on the top side of the map, and then they just play this slow, measured style of game where they take very high percentage plays with good scaling comps, and it kind of looks like they're not really doing that much, but they're just slowly getting themselves into position to win.
That's what got 100 Thieves into the finals last split. It's getting them towards the finals in this one. If 100 Thieves win this game, because of the Echo Fox loss earlier, only FlyQuest could catch them at 11 wins. And of course, that would mean Thieves would have to lose tomorrow, and FlyQuest would have to 2-0. So Thieves get very, very close to locking that number 2 seed with a win here today. Of course, not yet guaranteed in all cases. Nocturne going to be the first pick. North America still very keen on this champion. And we'll see what comes through into this one with very similar pick ban in a lot of these cases to the previous game.
Yeah, Kindred off the table, so won't be able to actually answer with that this time around, but certainly do have the possibility for more Varus Braum or things along those lines. It has been such a popular bottom lane in the LCS. We've been seeing a lot of Varus Braum, of Tahm Kench Ashe is kind of that answer. The matchup that we did see last time around, so it wouldn't shock me to just see Varus Braum locked in here for C9, unless they want to pick up their jungler right now, but I think it makes more sense to go for a contested pick, so expecting to see their marksman or perhaps even
Cloud9 on a 6-1 run in the back half of the split, and they're 6-1 with this lineup, not kind of the golden glue plus fence Garen portion of it. And they're going to look for a couple of Freljordian tanks first off. Braum and Trundle here into this one, so they are waiting for their marksman pickup. They're going to let 100 Thieves grab what they want. There's no rush on Trundle. It means they're probably opting into look at a potential counter pick if needed. Yeah,
exactly. And that's just one of those situations where, again, you're not taking contested picks, so you're worried about any potential picks that they could be going for. Maybe you don't want to play Varus into certain matchups or certain supports. You're kind of worried about perhaps heavy dive. I mean, this is Alistar Nocturne, so now maybe you see Sneaky kind of go back to something like an Ezreal, a safer pick, more long range there.
Waiting to see what 100 Thieves going to lock in then, as they do have some forward motion, and that Zoe's going to be grabbed. We know it's a champion we're used happy to play. Has gone down in priority somewhat in pro play. We often see it drop down to that second phase of picks and bans. Not going to be the case, of course, here, as Ryu grabs it, and Cloud9 indeed did wait to make sure they had the chance to counter pick here in this role.
Yeah, and this is most played. This is a pretty interesting draft. We could just see pick parity and Jensen grab a mid laner here. Okay.
Interesting.
So,
go ahead.
GP very likely is going to be top. It can be played mid. I have seen it played into Zoe actually mid lane some, because the remove Scurvy works on Sleepy Trouble Bubble, so that can be a decent matchup, just kind of farm it up on GP, but expecting it to be mid. And they are going to leave Sneaky a little bit more vulnerable here. Both the AD carries could be kind of targeted now. If you want to have heavy dive onto a marksman, you could ban out some of the safer marksmen on the side of 100 Thieves and look to really, punish a marksman with less mobility.
And Jace being banned away, so I think there's still entertaining the option of flexing it, because that Gangplank could go up there, of course, but I do want to see where that champion moves. If Ssumday picks a big dumb tank, it's an easy match for Gangplank. If you play something like Gnar, maybe you opt away from that. And wait to see as LeBlanc off table as well, so not even 100 Thieves are convinced that Gangplank's going in the mid lane. And yeah, wait to see. Yeah. But I agree with you, it is flexible, and it'd be fun to watch that matchup play out.
It's definitely more likely that it is going to be played top. I just have seen that matchup played mid. But either way, Rumble and Jace taken away in the top lane, two champions that are pretty strong into that GP, so certainly looking like it is going to be a top lane GP. Save the mid lane pick for later. 100 Thieves could just continue to target Jensen here if they want to secure a strong matchup for Ryu. That would mean that no marksman bans really coming through for the bottom lane, and Cody Sun and Sneaky would have pick of the litter, so Sneaky could still grab the Varus right here if he wants, then leave Jensen's pick for last. But again, it depends. Is he comfortable playing Varus into Alistar, Nocturne, and Zoe?
Yeah, without a Tahm Kench available, because that was banned away, obviously, and 100 Thieves knew what kind of lineup they were setting themselves up for. They knew the Nocturne was going to be up, and you call it was going to be banned most likely. So no, we're going to keep on with the Quinn. Great pickup here. I think a champion's very, very strong. Did receive another round of nerfs very recently. Not on this patch, though, but had reduced armor and reduced Harrier damage a little while back. Sneaky, though, still one of the very only players in Pro willing to bring this champion out. Always someone to credit for being first to the new stuff, or even the old stuff in the case of Quinn, but respect it all the same. We'll see if 100 Thieves are ready. I imagine they have not scrimmed against Quinn almost any.
Yeah, still the only guy to bring it out in the NALCS, so very likely have not played against it much, especially in the bottom lane. You see it in some other regions, but usually in top side. So yeah, 100 Thieves going back to scaling marksman once again. Probably makes the most sense to have a tank around the south, but then you're kind of giving the lane advantage over to Licorice, so they may want to go for a more aggressive matchup, have Ssumday try to be able to win there. I think Gnar can kind of check both boxes if they go for it. Vladimir, the old school GP counter pick here. Used to be considered very, very good into that GP. If you get ahead, you can certainly start to dive onto the GP. We could even see him go Ignite. This is something where I have seen some Vladimirs playing Spellbook Vladimir in the top lane, and you actually go for Ignite and you try to play it super aggressively. Yeah. Level 6 dive, but Fizz, this is going to be an explosive game. Fizz Quinn on one side. We got the Vladimir Nocturne combo on the top side for the other team, and this is going to be a spicy game.
This is exciting. Two of the very best teams in North America. 100 Thieves, one of only two squads to have already locked a playoff spot. That's great stats, of course. 100 Thieves already locked in playoffs. They get ever close to a playoff bye. Of course, Cloud9 could be one of those teams challenging for that honor themselves. A 6-1 lineup on the right-hand side here. Jensen brings in the Fizz, sneaky on his third Quinn game, and a Gangplank and a Vladimir in the top lane. There's only an Alistar to be a tank on the 100 Thieves side, and a lot of damage on both compositions. This is going to be a fun one. A battle near the top of the table.
It's going to be wild. There'll be so much dive from 100 Thieves. It feels like even the Kaisa's got to be diving in with the rest of the squad. There's not a lot of backline peel, not a lot of protection, and Jensen could have a field day if he gets going. These are a lot of squishy members here on 100 Thieves.
This is going to be fun. So, once again, lineups on your screen. I do believe Cloud9 locks a playoff spot themselves with a win, and because both Optic and TSM cannot catch them, and so going up to 10 wins is magical for them here. We'll see if Cloud9 once again finds himself in the postseason. Hopefully a longer run than last split. Cloud9 was exited in quarterfinals by Team Liquid a few months ago. This time around, Liquid with a playoff bye. That won't happen here at the very least. Cloud9 have looked very good with this lineup. And we are on to Summoner's Rift, the Pigeon! Jensen himself, or who knows, maybe not. Bless us with this game.
It's going to be an exciting one. I think already a lot of interesting choices here. You can see Sneaky going with the Electrocute for that Quinn burst. Zeyzal playing Guardian I think makes a lot of sense when you're expecting all this dive to be coming back towards your marksman, and that can help him survive there. It is not going to be the Spellbook Ignite from the Vladimir on the top side, instead Airy NTP, so kind of more of the standard, perhaps safer option up on the top side, but still going to be a very contentious matchup. I do find this one very interesting to watch in the 1v1, especially because Ssumday and Licorice, I would say, are the two best performing top laners in the league, right? Yep. Both these guys are actually, I would say, MVP candidates as well. And really, when you think about it from that lens, this is one of those matches that could really help swing a lot of votes, right? You could be seeing someone hard carry this game and perhaps on the back of that be pushed towards MVP. And if Licorice can actually sustain it and kind of get it going, get ahead, it can get rough for Vladimir. But Vladimir, if they have that pressure, if they have the advantage, GP gets pushed in under his turret, and all of a sudden you can be getting dove at level 6.
Yeah, Cloud9 was 1-6, and they finally found this lineup, and they went 8-1. Something like that ever since then. It's been really beautiful.
And this would be their 7th straight win. They are the hottest team in the league. So despite the fact that they are still looking to lock in at playoffs, that record is not really indicative of their strength. They reset. Ooh. I think it reset off the blind there from Quinn. It seemed like it lost a lot of patience. I'm not sure.
Nearsighted couldn't find Trundle.
Yeah, exactly. So it started to lose a lot of patience off that. So it's going to slow them down a bit either way. We'll be able to steal away the red buff. We'll see if Blaber is going to head straight up towards top and try to get both red buffs and secure a 3 buff here. And looks like that may be the option.
And we'll see as we watch that path coming through. We're watching the bottom lane matchup right now, and so far nothing too exciting happening. Fizz, of course, going to be on the back foot somewhat against Zoe. A very good laner in her own right. Fizz very strong, but has to still respect what Poke could be and what Nocturne can do. Fizz, Playful Trickster, cannot break the Nocturne fear, so that is definitely a gankable matchup.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see Jensen is Inspiration Secondary, so going to be Time Warp Tonic, maybe even Biscuits, as well as that Corrupting Potion. wants to survive. You know, as Fizz, your goal in the early stages in any range matchup is generally just get farm. Be able to get yourself to a reasonable stage. If you can hit, you know, level 6 on equal terms, you can certainly look for kills. I mean, Zoe, if you ever use that ultimate to kind of even go for harass, you can actually throw the fish back to where Zoe is going to be returning to. Yep. There is no way for her to then avoid it. She goes back, she gets attached by that fish, and you can get first down very heavily.
You get one stopwatch. That's pretty much it on the Zoe side of that one. So, interesting things to watch for here is right now, Jensen having a decent time last hitting on a turret. Slightly missed that one here, but otherwise holding pretty equal in CS and actually will be ahead. So a couple of these dropped by Ryu. We'll watch this matchup more later on. I want to look topside here because this is a Ssumday push, the matchup I think we were very excited for. As the chef comes in, we've got biscuits for Licorice himself. And now looking as damage comes back and forth. How many DCS will he get now stuck under his turret?
I mean, he's not more Tonic too, so they both are really kind of just trying to survive. And you know, you can say, sure, that's fine, right? If they get out of laning phase, if they get to that stage later on, they're going to have some pretty powerful champions here on GP and Fizz. But it does give Anda a lot of advantage in the early game, right? Because he is going to have 2 pushing lanes. He's going to have 2 advantageous solo lanes. And that's what makes it that invade on the bottom side from C9, I think, so smart. Because Trundle should be on the back foot in this jungle matchup when both his solo lanes are losing. So enabling him to get a buff ahead, enabling him to not have, you know, that red buff on his opponent means he's going to not be getting pushed out. He's not going to be kind of losing those 1v1s as heavily.
And now the early recall does come out of Licorice. He's going to TP back, and it's only Boots and a Ruby Crystal and the refresh on the potion. Hopes it's going to be enough to keep him getting pushed out. Again, his defensive runes being taxed over and over again. It's Grasp Gangplank trying to survive with that. But yeah, down 7 CS with teleport down. Ssumday is absolutely manhandling this matchup. And this will be the kick now for Jensen.
Oh yeah, and he's behind him, and his
pulls down. Break it. Where now can he go? Good Q into flash. This should not be much of a dive. Actually, no, he's got nowhere to go. He kept doubling back, and he kills himself. First blood goes to Zoe.
Yeah, it felt like there was no real way out, though. That sleepy bubble trouble was so smart from Ryu, completely blocking off his escape path. If he tries to walk around it to get behind the turret, he walks into Anda. If he tries to run straight away, he's running away from that turret, away from safety, and you know, maybe could have just been flashing caught by Anda. We'll watch it one more time, but he uses that troll pull, going aggressively, Q's through, flashes out, and then has to sidestep the bubble here or he dies. But where do you go from there? I think there's actually no way out. It was just really well played from 100 Thieves, and the mistake from Jensen, if any, is using your E aggressively.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nocturne got around his ward line. He lost track of him, and just very rough timing. That's what happens sometimes in a game with Fog of War. You've got to take risks, and that one did not pay off. Watching again as Licorice deals battle with Ssumday. This one a bit closer as he gets some more CS, but now, as Blaber pulls in the reinforcements, Cloud9 able to get something back for themselves, an early Ocean Drake, and what a blessing for Licorice this will be. The sub-6-minute Ocean Drake in one of the worst matchups in pro play. Gangplank and Vladimir will help him a little bit, and he'll hope he can survive the matchup now. Yeah,
it actually makes such a big difference because now not only does he have time more tonic and all these potions and the biscuits and everything, you're actually just going to keep getting mana back to be able to spam remove scurvy. And being able to have that really does make a world of difference in just kind of surviving this poke and this harass, because if he can actually survive in those early stages and get to something like an early Hex Drinker, start building along those lines, then it does get tough for the Vladimir to really continue that bullying, and he's just looking to actually push this out and reset. So smart ultimate, I think, from Licorice.
Yep, putting a ward down to watch for if Vlad's going to stop him, and the recall under the brush. Ssumday likely knows there's a chance of this one and wants to... Okay, yeah, Licorice wants to stop the freeze, and he won't get to do that, but it is time lost, as now the recall is going to be a little bit later, and part of that wave can be lost. Blaber wants to now fight Anda. A nice smite comes through, and Chicken's getting traded back and forth. Even Ryu Zoe gets one for himself. 600 gold difference, though, which is what you get for first blood.
Howl Rush. Wow, that is the most defensive GP build I've seen in a really long time, so really respecting the potential of an all-in. I have often seen in this matchup people just rush Hex Drinker because it's giving you some damage. But I think, you know, the Cowl, definitely the argument can be made for that, especially since you have Ocean now. You're just saying, well, I don't really care about killing him. I just care about farming and surviving, and this is going to be the best option for that. I don't expect him to complete that Cowl into anything anytime soon, but likely sit on the Cowl. Next buy could just be a Sheen straight into Triforce and just try to farm it up and just stabilize that lane.
Currently 280 gold behind in the matchup top side. That's what 13 CS is going to buy you here. And And that's after Gangplank prints money with his Q on minions, so that is a rough tax to be in. Of course, Ssumday gets 10 gold for his barrel kills and might even have more of those than the parlay is given.
And in the early stages, you don't actually get that much Q gold from minions because you have to use that parlay for harass. So he only has like 40 or so gold bonus from that parlay. But Blaber up on the top side, and remember, no GP ultimate is available, and it is a Cowl Rush GP, so we'll see if they have the damage.
Ssumday has ult. Can he land on both people? A nice pillar buys some time, and he's going to hope that Sanguine Pool and the Hemo Plague will be enough for him, and it's likely to be the case. Yeah, giant chunk of health, and Blaber never needed to take turret aggro. That Vladimir going to have way too much health coming back, and now keep in mind, Anda is getting close to in range for the Paranoia to dash in. If C9 turns around, they could turn it into a kill. They're going to back off, though, and going to stay alive here, but that could have been turned around if C9 was too aggressive.
Yeah, it's well played though from Ssumday. Calmly gets out, no summoners actually expended. I don't think C9 was ever really going to have enough damage there to kill him off without the GP ultimate, with this build on GP here also, and it is just the Bomby Cinder on Trundle, so not a lot of damage in the tank there, but still, so far so good on the top side, 400 Thieves, and Anda is being able to get a little bit of farm advantage here, taking away those Raptors.
Face check right into Vlad. Of course, the passive on cooldown means Ssumday's okay to take that trade.
Ooh, they could go for this now.
Okay, he's got Flash, and he's got Oranges, unless he burned them sometime recently. And I'm going to walk right in. Here comes Paranoia. He's got to play around this now, trying to run. The Oranges used. He's going to keep the run going, and he will stay alive. So, yeah, Paranoia against Gangplank, not all that effective. An easy run for Ssumday. Or sorry, for Licorice.
Yeah, Licorice just with a cowl. There's not an ultimate, no ignite, nothing like that available for Ssumday to actually try to dive in and get that kill. So it really was just Anda's damage. He doesn't have the completed warrior yet, and Licorice just calmly backs off, saves the remove Scourgy for the fear, and able to walk that out no problem, not even have to expend his summoner.
And of course, smart of Licorice should never be burning that cooldown. Has enough regen, knows Nocturne is on the map, and overall, that's like the weird play that you never get credit for, but it's like, no, he didn't use W ever. That's why he lived, whereas like, I would probably have burned W for health and then died to Nocturne and been like, right, I'm an idiot. Licorice confirmed, not an idiot.
Good job.
Yeah. Bigger brain than me, though most players are like that.
Definitely has a big brain. He's been playing very well for C9
exactly.
here.
Oh, and
there it is.
The Shark is on. Ryu's going to flash, but he doesn't have the way out, and the kill comes through straight up. A little bit of help from the squad.
So nice there from Jensen. That is the interaction I was talking about. That is why you can't actually use the portal jump offensively against this Fizz, because watch it. So he goes for the portal jump for the harass. As soon as you do that, Jensen will just throw the Shark on the return portal. So he goes forward. You don't throw it at him. You just Shark where he's going to be. There's no way to then avoid that. Jensen goes all in with the ignite. Everything lands. Doesn't even have to hit the flash. Nicely done from Jensen.
And the timing was 5 seconds too soon for Ryu. Stopwatch just came up to be available, recently nerfed to a 10-minute cooldown start of the game, so he could not immune the Shark, could not even Playful Trickster. That was the last possible window to make that play.
Yeah.
Now Jensen's no longer got the opportunity to get those free kills in lane anymore, but a flashless Ryu might mean Stopwatch isn't enough anymore.
Yeah, exactly, and he's getting closer and closer towards this Proto Belt, and if you lose control of the minion wave, if you're not bullying this Fizz, the Fizz is certainly a champion who can actually push out the wave and get out to those side lanes, look to affect some of those other matchups. So Jensen definitely going to be happy about that one, able to get a nice kill back onto Ryu.
And a nice little hit right there as the Alistar walked out of lane, but Cody Sun's fine enough here. CS pretty much equal in this bottom lane. First, the Stormrazor is Cody Sun, though. Managed to time his recalls, I guess, a little bit more nicely.
It's going to be really interesting to see how C9 actually elects to play this one out. Both these comps I don't think have the most clear of win conditions. You could look at this as like a 1-3-1 or something from C9, but a lot of their guys want to roam, want to skirmish. In a straight-up 5v5, you're expecting the Quinn to kind of be outpaced there by the Kaisa, but Sneaky could get out to those side lanes, could look to try to take over in some other lanes, and same thing with Fizz. It's a lot of kind of global pressure and roaming pressure coming out with the Quinn ultimate, the GP ultimate, and Fizz roaming around.
Battle for the blue buff, and picked up, and it gets it now, a 3 versus 2, a knock-up in from Braum, but they're going to get that kill on a Blaber. 2-1, 100 Thieves getting that dive in the jungle.
Yeah, nicely done from 100 Thieves. Sneaky's back in base, so C9 might have just wanted to give that one up without your marksman around. You are certainly going to be at a disadvantage. They do pay the price, and they're going to lose an Infernal off the back of that as well. So 100 Thieves coming up big.
Really nice right here. Infernal's going to feel good as well for a very carry-heavy composition. 4 of these champions benefit highly. Only Alistar is really ambivalent about this one. Probably Cloud would have been better for him, but such is life. And knock down some minions in Cloud9 on the back foot to the tune of 400 gold. Jensen gonna look for his play towards Ryu, maybe. What if he actually fishes for this or not? Looks like no.
Yeah, I think he's happy still just kind of farming this out. So, you don't have to go for the proactive play here, really, as Fizz at this point. You can wait till you have some of the completions. You can try to get out to the side lanes and look for edges there. And anytime you go for it, there's the Shark.
Cleanses, but that's a cleanse that came out from the minions, so very little damage dealt. Of course, just a little guppy there. He's going to be okay. Jensen not yet on Proto Belt. The 2-stack on Dark Seal a bit nice, though.
Yeah, not much cost, as you said, because it's that minion cleanse, because he did pick that up. So pretty well done from him, but the Shark really does become insanely low cooldown. And even at this stage in the game, without an item completed, it's 90 seconds. A late game, you can get that Fizz ultimate down to like 30-ish, 36 seconds or so, and you can have an opportunity to throw it out so frequently that it even becomes a pretty powerful wave clear ability, as you can kind of just pre-ultimate as a wave is coming in, and there's a lot of utility there.
Looking again at the top of the matchup, though, one that I think we're all very excited and watching for, both for the quality of players and the exciting abilities of the matchup. And it stabilized really, really well. I think Ocean Drake certainly helped, so did Spectre's Cowl, and here we have Licorice just roughly equal on farm. He's got his Sheen, which is the first Gangplank power spike, and the gold difference down to only 40. He's managed to print enough money with Parlay that he's keeping up now with Ssumday, and this counter pick has yet to really bully the matchup. Of course, team fighting will be a different beast. Vladimir can do a lot in team fights, as can the Gangplank. Now Cody Sun on the run from Sneaky. Bit of damage there. Out they go.
And get that Storm Razor auto off for the guaranteed crit. But yeah, I would say Licorice is going to be very, very happy about his position here. Not down much at all in the farm regard and working towards that Triforce. Just going to TP straight back into lane. The Cowl makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's worked out. Yes, you have to give credit to the Ocean Dragon also, but you just want to farm as the GP, and the Vladimir kind of needs to pressure you more heavily. Can still be very good in those team fights later on, but can be tough to find them sometimes if GP keeps you under your turret. Like, once you have Triforce, you certainly have the push.
Ooh, a flash to set it up. They're all on top of him. Look at the 3-man dive, and that's why they picked up the Kaisa. The follow-through is so easy for Cody Sun. A kill sadly to Alistar, but still, look at that dive.
Yeah, that dive is just sick from Aphromoo setting it up, and Kaisa zooms in. Onda zooms in as well, and Licorice will clear this out, so nicely done from him. And at the same time, C9 probably going to get this bot lane turret, so they do get the kill. But the GP ultimate helped hold mid, and no, they're not actually going to get it. They will have to back off. They're kind of worried about any potential collapse. Either way, C9 not coming out of it too much the worse for wear.
Discretion the better part of Valor there. Couldn't have quite burned it down. Didn't quite have the resources to help them. But yeah, turret damage getting in there, and that could matter later on. Absolutely watch for that later into this one. I do want to talk a bit more about this top lane matchup. I think it's interesting. So you're right, the Spectre's Cowl has let him stop the bleeding, stay equal in farm. But that is still 1,200 gold that Licorice will not get back in offensive stats. So, there'll be a 20-minute team fight where he won't quite have Trinity Force yet, or 18 minutes or whatever, and that will pay forward in its own right when Gangplank could have done more. That CDR could have been 20% on the ultimate and not 10, and maybe the next ultimate is down what it could have been up, and something else happens. So that is still going to pay forward a little bit, even though the matchup is now seemingly equal on the screen. Good little poke there, and again, just pressure on this bottom side. Turret getting low.
And Aphromoo is back, so they're kind of threatening a potential engage and trying to shove him under there. And you can see Ssumday has gotten some edges. He's getting a little bit down on that turret, a little bit of damage, but still, I mean, yes, the Cowl does make you, deal less damage in those team fights, but it's not like it's just AP threats from the mid lane. It's also the Zoe there, so you're going to have some effectiveness from that point of view. And Jensen looking to roam down. They really want to get this first turret. There's 4 men potentially coming down bot.
Here's the hard dive towards Quinn. So you got to get out there, and he does vault back in time. Teleport coming to join in as well.
Vladimir.
A quick drowsy. Fizz can't join just yet. A big burst towards Jensen at now just half HP, and he can't join that one. So jumps to the brush, runs away, no fight to be had.
This is really nice, though, for C9, because we didn't see Licorice actually join, so he's pushing up on the top side. It's 100 Thieves that now have to pressure. They're going to try to get this first turret down in the bottom lane.
I think it's theirs with Herald. I think it's theirs.
Yeah, they're just sending Cody Sun top. They're saying, we're going to get this first sure. Jensen is pushing mid. Cody Sun's going to go up top to try to answer the GP, and 100 Thieves trying to commit for this. We'll see if they can finish it off.
A bit of damage from Quinn. A stun coming in as well. Still a 3v3, though. Could be some good damage. And a quick Sanguine Pool with the damage. One more hit. Yes, Ryu grabs it. First turret goes over to 100 Thieves. A nice Herald. Nice rotation on the bottom side. Licorice gets some gold and some damage, but can't stop it. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that he would have had his ultimate 5 seconds faster could have stopped that a little bit more. Probably not in this case, but things to consider.
Always worth considering, but if he's 0-5 with his 20% CDR, then that's worth considering too.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's wrong. I
Yeah.
just want to talk about the overall impact of forcing defensive items. Not that anyone's wrong, but that's the payout.
Yep, and 100 Thieves really able to actually make that work quite well for themselves. And despite the fact that Ssumday's TP wasn't able to initially get too much, they were able to use that Rift Herald to actually push down the turret and just barely get it while sending Cody Sun top. So it's not like Licorice can trade it back. If they're now getting pressure up here on the top side, GP Ultimate will keep this turret alive, but still pretty nicely done by 100 Thieves. And their play around the map is always so good. Actually, they just tank it up for the last couple shots and they do finish it down. This really is kind of the strength, I would say, of 100 Thieves, and Cody Sun is scaling up. He's building towards that Rage Blade and will be that crit marksman that you expect to do a lot of the heavy lifting for 100 Thieves, as he does in most of their games.
I want to point out, actually, as well, as we look across this game, the 1,000 gold lead for 100 Thieves looks very nice, and Ssumday actually going for more of a CDR wave clear build. It's not the hard burst. I know the ability.
The Oblivion Orb.
Oblivion Orb, yeah, that whole thing. It's not that, it's the Spellbinder's Orb, and now the attempt. Nice Zonia's Hourglass immunes both the damage tools of Fizz now, and they're going to re-engage towards him, but he's going to kite away and stay alive from Nocturne. Now looking at Aphromoo, pop steal, but could still be stunned. And now can they burn him down through this? The knockouts are there, the Ignite is on, and they get that kill. Sneaky is 300 gold richer. 2-3, Cloud9 pick up a single.
Yeah, 100 Thieves, quick to respond there, try to jump in and taking out Jensen, but Jensen's so elusive on this Fizz, and the rest of the squad was there to back him up, so they will get this kill. They will grab a dragon here also, and there is a lot of roaming pressure, a lot of ability to respond to some of these fights here from C9, so 100 Thieves are going to have to be careful because they have some nasty engage, but if a Quinn flies in out of nowhere, if the GT ultimate comes down, those fights can be turned around.
And this makes the game all the more exciting as Cloud9 adds the Cloud Drake to their inventory here. The rotations are nice. Static Shiv now done for the bot lane. Watch that fight one more time.
Yeah, a lot of members around mid lane here. You can see C9's members were kind of collapsing first though, and they go in for this ultimate, but Trundle is already here. The support is already here.
Oh,
and they're going one more time.
Yeah, they're already here into the mid lane, and that kill's gonna come through. Zonia's still not even picked up. That first stopwatch usage is now gone.
The two-man roam squad there. Sneaky just shows up. Now they're on to Aphro.
Ill or the slow could just be enough. Can they get that chase down? 5 more auto attacks, he's gonna get away. Nocturne's gonna defend him, but Aphro running low on health. That is some dynamic aggression now on C9's side. Mid gonna get cleared out pretty quickly as well, and
yeah,
suddenly you gotta be afraid of this.
100 Thieves really do have to be very respectful of the fact that these guys can just show up. I mean, it's essentially two champions performing as assassins. And with this Fizz and with the Quinn just kind of zooming in and doing so much damage with the Electrocute, the Shiv plus Storm Razor for that first auto, as well as Harrier proc, going to be so much upfront burst that if you do not have the whole team there ready to respond, you just die.
Both Trundle and Braum just aggressive enough champions to deal with the fact that Zoe and Alistar don't have self-disengage tools. They can maybe CC one person, but you can't stop the Trundle pillar or get over it without burning Flash. So it's just enough to sometimes force those kills through. And Cloud9 have basically tied up the gold. Still down a turret, but have managed to make up the gold in other places, up the Drake as well.
The Spirit Visage was completed there for Licorice, so he's on 2 items now. He already had the Triforce up to 30% CDR. Going to be quite tanky, actually, and the additional healing is fairly nice for the removed Scurvy. So we'll see what the game plan is. For now, it's Fizz in the mid lane. Quinn gets sent top to deal with the side waves. You can see GP heading down bottom, but Anda is in range for that ultimate if he did show, but not going to have the knowledge to go for it.
Yeah. No flash up for Gangplank and no flash for Nocturne. Likely Licorice can get away, but running a Summoner, of course, still worth it. Afro getting rid of some vision, and we know the only neutral up right now is Baron Nashor, so that top river meaning a bit more. Looking at the vision myself, it's actually a little bit for both sides, and no one in total control on that part of the map, but mid lane under fire. 100 Thieves going to go for the one-sided play, and turret's going to fall, and ties up the gold.
Yeah, I mean, 200, 100 gold apart, basically. 21 minutes in, this game is ridiculously close, and Sneaky, he's gonna be able to control a lot of side lanes very well with the ultimate flying around, but he does have to be very careful of Ssumday because he has no MR on his champion right now, and if he gets caught in the 1v1, could be dangerous. Here it is one more time. The ultimate then connects from Jensen, flashing in. There was Sneaky, I believe, and connects with enough damage to just burst down Ryu. So that was that earlier play that we caught the tail end of. And you can see Ryu is trying to get towards his Zonias here, but until he actually has that, doesn't have a lot of ability to survive these all-ins. Now
And that's the difficulty here when you're against Fizz as a champion without ways of dodging the Shark natively. It's flash or it's items. That's what it comes down to, and it's why Jensen picked the matchup. He knows that you can play around that, you're going to be in a good spot, but now here comes the dive towards Zeyzal, but he's pretty tanky as Kaisa burns the ulti, and now has to be a little bit afraid as a pillar comes in, and Aphro can't really go anywhere, and they will burn him down to the ultimate sneaky as another kill. Now Jensen wants in, can he land that Shark? He cuts off the angle, and it's going to be a forced flash out of Cody Sun. I like hedging the bets though, putting it the bottom side, forcing the wall flash.
They could potentially look towards Baron. I think they are going to just recall and actually defend this, but they have a lot of vision control around there. Sneaky and Zeyzal will be pushing on the top side, and Licorice going to answer the Vladimir. So C9 with a lot of pressure on the map right now. Having that flash down on Cody Sun is going to be really big for the next potential fight.
Yeah, absolutely huge. Have to use the ultimate or maybe the E to get away from stuff. Quick wave clear down, but look at how low that turret is. Ssumday on the dedicated split push back to leading in farm. Good pick up there, and it grabs the blue buff and able to walk away pretty cleanly. The 20 CDR Vladimir. Spellbinder's now done, but again, not that same Spellbinder's Death Cap rush with Sork shoes that we used to see for bottom lane Vlad. This is more CDR based, more uptime based. That gives you more heals and more wave control overall. That's the look he went for. Now, again, trying to find Cody Sun, pops the stopwatch, and now it's this poor Aphromoo Alistar constantly attack. Cody Sun is going to fall with the trade for Jensen's Fizz, but another kill coming through on Cloud9's side. It's a 4 versus 3 in this fight overall on the map as Teleport's going in. Look for Ryu, can't quite kill him. Sneaky falls to Vladimir as Ssumday's arrived. He wants to pick off these kills if he can do so. Blaber was feared, but he popped the stopwatch to buy some more time, and now C9 forced to run away. Ssumday in the front lines, he's waiting for his way out, and he can't find it. Blaber getting that kill on the Trundle, and Cloud9 and 100 Thieves fighting back and forth. C9 getting the extra kill in that fight.
Yeah, Licorice staying alive for so long in that fight. He's able to get so much damage down the stretch, and that was a really, really close fight. C9 did want to capitalize on Cody Sun not having his flash, but Jensen didn't have his ultimate, so they couldn't actually finish him off that quickly, and Cody Sun able to actually get the shutdown kill onto Jensen there. So a lot of gold on this Kaisa, and you can see going to be going for a third item. Zhonya's here, it is one more time. So remember, no Fizz ultimate was available. They know he has no flash. They jump right in onto him. Stopwatch buying a lot of time. Vladimir TPing in from behind. The shutdown goes onto the Kaisa, but they do get 2 kills here for Sneaky, and Sneaky going forward, but Ryu on top of him, Ssumday on top of him. They knock down Sneaky there too, and this looked like it could have been a 100 Thieves fight, but Licorice shows up. He's still basically full HP. He is very hard to finish off with that Spirit Visage, and a lot of damage left from that 3-man C9 squad.
Gonna look for another battle right here. A lot of damage did come out from Sneaky there on this one. That was, I guess, some of an unsung hero in that fight, but did really, really well. 2,000 gold puts Cloud9 ahead as they look for that guaranteed playoff spot with a win. Gonna knock down the Thieves, maybe even take the buy away if they're gonna get a lot done here in this one. This could be a dead Aphromoo yet again. They're constantly picking on this Alistar, the true damage taking through in a lot of these cases and burning him down, looking for another as Ryu forces a flash wave, and now has no escape tools. 2 kills picked up, a double for the Quinn. Cloud9 constantly aggressive, finding kills left and right.
Yeah, and the Infernal is up, so they can get even more here if they want to go for it. They're sending Jensen up top. They're going to try to use a 4-man squad to grab the Infernal, and it should be theirs. They're just playing this game so aggressively. Both these comps butting heads, just fighting non-stop, and Sneaky has been coming up pretty big in this now. 5-1-2 on the Quinn.
Yeah.
Getting so much done in these very messy, skirmish-heavy team fights.
That is the power of Quinn. You can get waves and show up in time. Once again, flying in as they go for this battle.
And this GP ultimate from Licorice was so good. And Aphro actually had to flashback still inside it, trying to get out, so Aphromoo does get knocked down, and then that Shark had to be Zhonya's from Ryu, but it allows them to set up on top of him. Blaber flashing over, the rest of the team flying over top. Does mean another kill goes the way of C9, and they grab the Infernal to boot, so that advantage has been erased for 100 Thieves.
Oof, and a chunk right there. That is what Quinn does with 3 items and a squishy without any real defensive tools.
I mean, the IE is done. You can get a Harrier proc, the Shiv, the Storm Razor gives you the guaranteed crit, and that is insane burst.
And it's 10% true damage for good measure to make sure that armor doesn't do everything.
Not too bad.
So pretty powerful, pretty effective here. And Cloud9, 3,500 is their lead.
At the same time, you know, they are very swishy, right? And you know, if Sneaky makes that misstep, he could get taken down very quickly. You know, if Aphro can get on top of him, they have the follow-up, certainly with the Nocturne, with Cody Sun flying with that ultimate. And 100 Thieves are good in these late game stages.
Okay, Blaber pops the ult. He could be running out of health though, getting down about half HP, pops stone plate, and finally runs away. Looking at Ssumday though, wants to get to the back line, a nearsighted enemy team as maybe they find Ana coming in, and they will in fact dive to look for it, and they get the shutdown on Quinn. 5v, 400 Thieves in the chase, but a trade kill comes through thanks to Fizz, and a triple knock for Aphromoo. Is it gonna be enough for Cody Sun? He's starting to clean up, and Licorice running away. Gonna be drowsy, gonna put down a barrel, but Ryu gonna find the burst. The kills come in, only 2 left alive for Cloud9, and 3 for 100 Thieves. Looking at Zeyzal, gonna find a bit of damage, gonna find a little bit more, but he flashes over and stays alive. 3v2 still, 100 Thieves gonna push up the mid lane.
Aphromoo with one of the best plays of the split there. The spring season MVP just lined up the whole team. 4-man headbutt pulverize. Jensen wants it. The ultimate is almost
like
back.
3 seconds, but he didn't. You're right.
You're right. Yeah, guy in the crowd had his number.
For those who didn't hear, someone said you won't. We had to call him out for the proper Silver 3 Reddit analysis. That's what every team needs, and we're here.
There you go. All right, here it is one more time. Look at Ssumday. This is a key part of the fight. Ssumday charging up the Q and then looks towards the back line. Licorice, Zeyzal, and Sneaky getting hit with that ultimate. He dives in, and they actually wait out the locket. So he's keeping vision. The locket expires, then Anda goes straight in to finish him off. So very patient, very smart play. And then look at this. Headbutt pulverize from who else? It's Aphromoo showing up. Gets all 4 members. They're massive. Re-engage, gives up the life, but who cares? He's going to be able to get him a couple more kills. And 100 Thieves turning it on in the late game. This game is still anyone's game. It's so, so close. And you can see if Ssumday, if Cody Sun stay safe, they can put out massive amounts of damage. And Sneaky is still pretty vulnerable. He doesn't have a Tom Kench in his back pocket to keep him safe here from Nocturne, from Vladimir.
What's crazy, the damage difference that big you saw in that chart down there was only +1 kill on the 100 Thieves side. Of course, a lot of that is Trundle, a punching bag with a stone plate and an ultimate.
Scrappy game.
It is a scrappy game, though. Battling back and forth. Zonia's now done for the Fizz. Lichbane was a while ago. Zonia's, we mentioned, done for Ryu, and more items getting stacked up. There's even a Zonia's for Ssumday now, so a lot of spikes coming forward. Zonia's done for Cody Sun. Lots of these tools to get away from sharks and everything else.
Triple Zonias and GA, right? So those are your kind of 4 squishy members that you want to look for as Jensen. 3 of them have Zonias, 1 of them has a GA. It becomes harder to find those targets. It becomes about forcing out those Zonias first and then trying to finish up the kill afterwards, which can be very difficult in these fights as you are very squishy yourself. So we'll see how C9 wants to play it out. Their solo laners were pushing out side lanes. You can see Jensen up in the top lane. Licorice has already pushed out bot, so they have the waves working for them, and will use this to establish that Baron control.
You talk about forcing the cooldowns. Jensen's Shark is 49 seconds. Zonia's is 120. You can do 3 Sharks. The first can be Zonia's, the next 2 will land, and that's kind of the timing I think you're looking for here.
And then the question becomes, can you find those fights quickly enough, right? Yeah. Can you actually force those engagements in great situations? Because if the rest of your team isn't there to follow up, you throw out a Shark, they're not going to Zonias. They're just going to actually tank it. So it is very difficult to find those setups and always work through those cooldowns, as sometimes there can be pretty long times in between fights in pro play.
Yeah. And with Vladimir, good luck. He'll just cool it. So not always easy, but that might be the look. There's not a great obvious hard engage on the C9 side. Trundle, Pillars, and Braum are only so good for team fight engage. Finding ganks, that worked earlier in the game, and that was fine, and Cloud9 got their goldie, but you can see now they're the ones starting to be on the back foot. Mid lane control went to 100 Thieves. C9 still clings on to wards for now, but that's not going to last forever. Infernal Drake spawning in 40 seconds.
And I do have to give some credit to Cody Sun, I think, for that third item, Zonias. You know, people have kind of gotten rid of those AP builds on Kaisa, and he is going a more standard AD build with the Stormrazor being rushed there first, but you know, making a pit stop for the Zonias makes a lot of sense, and I think too many players would just go on autopilot and grab something like a Hex Drinker, which wouldn't be as effective in this situation.
What's also kind of incredible, it's Cody Sun's doing the like day 1 Kaisa, get all 3 evolves as soon as possible build. He's actually got exactly 100 AP for the W, he's got enough for the E and the Q, so every ability superpowered. Kaisa's at the late game dream already, and now going towards more crit chance, probably going to top off with Infinity Edge. We'll see though, I mean, even just Hurricane into Ruin King is okay as well to fight the Trundle.
Or even more survivability, right? It's one of those things where you have a lot of sustained DPS in this 100 Thieves squad, so if you're confident that you just have to kind of survive and you'll be able to put out enough damage to burst down these squishy members like Jensen and Sneaky, then that is certainly an option. But the next Infernal big ticket item for both of these teams. They really want to grab it, and maybe a huge point of contention. Ssumday just grabbed the blue buff, and he's running over now, so we'll be on 40% CDR for any potential team fight.
Okay, let's see. Again, mid lane cleared for Thunder Thieves, so Jensen's going to be known to be alone. Aphromoo can look for the headbutt. Polarizing flash! Oh, what a read. Jensen, playful trickster at the right time. Such a small window there, but he found it. And that's now a flashless Alistar.
Yeah, and that is such a big cooldown for the engage. 100 Thieves, but he finds another one.
Looks for the knockup. Licorice forced to flash away. Stays alive in this one, though, and that can be more and more scary. Health bar's a little bit lower on the C9 side. Locked up, look for the front line. There comes the Braum ultimate, and Azonia's popped by Cody Sun. Can they land the shark on his corpse, though? As he jumps back away and staying alive. Jensen the back line. He picks up one. Could be Fear, but he pops Azonia's to stay alive. Zoe's already got it. It's already 3 kills, and Jensen's right back out. And they're re-engaged towards Cody. Can't quite get the kill, but Braum sure can. 4 for 0. The pillar is there, and his days are numbered. He's going to revive, but it's Cloud9 taking whatever they want. The ace, the mid lane to fall. We'll see what they go for now with 30-second death timer, some even longer.
They can get the inhibitor here. They can potentially try to end the game. We'll see if they retreat to the Baron or not. Looks like they want this.
They're going for the end. Cloud9 locked playoffs with the win, and the chance at a bye is still alive. This is going to be the Nexus turrets falling. The Nexus itself to go down. Cloud9 can do no wrong anymore. What a win.
7 straight wins for C9, the hottest team in the LCS, and Double have said no one to worry about in playoffs. I would say take a look at Cloud9. They are on fire, knocking down 100 Thieves here, and what a final team fight from Jensen. He gets the Zonias out of Ryu, takes the exhaust from Aphromoo, still assassinates Ryu, absorbs pressure from both the Nocturne and this Kaisa, stays alive, and they win the team fight. Clean ace. They end the game. Very decisive stuff from Cloud9.
What a team. Cloud9 on a tear. They have lost a single game in the last half of the split. A 7-1 run in the back half so far. And this lineup looks scary, and it might not even be their final form. We saw that Golden Glue Svenskeren combo against the Spring Split champions. I mean, you've got to prepare for 2 different teams at that point. This is a very, very scary squad. We now know the analysts were wrong. Cloud9 over 9.5 wins, 10-7, locked for playoffs. And as you mentioned, hottest team in North America. Smiles deserved on their faces.
Yeah, they have had such a strong season. But for 100 Thieves, they are still in playoffs, and I believe still have an opportunity to fight for that bye at 10 wins. They still have their game tomorrow. But it does get harder for them to actually, guarantee that berth into the semifinals straight up. And that is what they have been fighting towards this whole season.
But it puts Cloud9 in a position where they're in control of their own destiny. Because they're at that 10-7, they can at least be in a tiebreaker for second in I think most, if not all, cases. So now to hear more about that game, let's send it to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. C9 with a big victory here over 100 Thieves, moving to 10-7 for both of these squads. But once again, we get to return to the foldy sheet. And make one more rip here, right down the middle.
Whoa,
as
careful, careful.
What? Hurry up, man.
Staple in the eye?
So we get to toss out the 100 Thieves scenarios.
Into the recycling bin.
Yeah, these are recycling bins, everybody.
Hey, Mark, you want to let everyone know how many scenarios remain?
They're
like
64. 64. I just rounded for fun. I hate everybody. Let's get into the game, please.
Yeah, let's do it. Some really interesting stuff happened here. And in particular, we want to take a look at one moment within the draft, because C9 did something very intriguing here, and I believe it even caught Prawley a little bit off guard.
And I was like, what's going on?
And Prawley also slack-jogged for a second. And we were really confused because with the Zoe showing and everything else matched, you think you take the mid laner there, continue the match rolls, and then go from there. But C9 kind of went back to more of a strategy people were doing a while ago, where you take the GP last rotation in the first phase on red side to them double ban tops that are good against it. And then that baits 100 Thieves into baiting mid laners out, because that's the mismatched solo lane position now. But the thing is, C9 has assassins on assassins. They don't need you know, you can ban 2. I'll have a third assassin ready to go.
Right, the assumption, I guess, is that Cloud9 would have taken whichever of the 3 assassins was not banned there. It happens to be Fizz.
Yeah, and we were kind of joking about like, oh yeah, if you're not starting every game, you have more time to spam solo queues. So they pull out Quinn and Fizz and like Svenskaren's Lee Sin, where he said he played 100 games of solo queue. You don't get that time in solo queue if you're playing 3 scrim blocks a day.
And to be fair, in scrims, you're usually controlling variables. So like 1 person or 2 people are experimenting at once. But if everyone's playing solo queue, everyone's experimenting and learning new picks. So maybe that's the case, but I wouldn't bet on that.
And I also think that even though the GP pick that early was a bit of a bamboozle, I don't feel like 100 Thieves had a bad draft after that. I feel like they pivoted and managed, and we had some really good games so far to date. Yeah, both of these games have been awesome.
Definitely did not determine the result of the game, and I think to your point about 100 Thieves and their adjustments, pulling out the Vladimir in the top lane. Again, it's a pick that we haven't seen necessarily for a while, but was an old classic into GP, and he did build a CS lead up there, but Jensen piloting this Fizz, man,
him and Sneaky just being the Bash brothers, jumping into mid lane over and over again. They have so many engage tools, so much speed ups, and this was a really nice play by 100 Thieves, and you can see the flank come in, but Ssumday pulls really early in this fight, and instead of continuing to combo onto Sneaky, he doesn't have enough damage to kill him quickly. Sneaky drops a lot of damage, and then when Licorice's TP comes in late because of the Nocturne ult, Ssumday no longer has pool to continue this fight and is able to be killed off as a result, making this what was one of should have been 100 Thieves' best plays, not work out for them.
Yeah, also a pretty tanky Gangplank build, going Spectre's Cal first, completing Spirit Visage, completing the Sterix Gauge later on.
This was a massive play by Aphromoo.
And these are the fights that show you how close the game was. Like a beautiful Alistar-Vladimir combo there. The start of the fight was a great Vlad ult into Nocturne ult to 0 out the 5-kill Quinn in the back of the fight. So there was a lot of momentum back and forth, but this is the fight because of the nice shark that Jensen landed, just making it all the way through the back line and then still actually surviving for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, pulls all of 100 Thieves carry resources onto him, and like you said, with the Zhonya's and the troll pull, able to live through the entire fight while his backline melts the Vladimir. And I mean, this was a really close game. I think, you know, when we started showing all the mid lane skirmishes, it was already starting to work for C9, but the early game was played better by 100 Thieves. You can see that they did have about a 1.3k gold lead at 10 minutes, which in 2 comps that have a 1-3-1 versus more of a 5-man team fight can be a little scary for the 1-3-1 comp falling behind a little bit.
Without a doubt, but now I think we have to take a look at C9's performance on the back half, and specifically with this roster. Now on a 7-game winning streak, only dropping their first game of the second half. Again, they took down Team Liquid just last week, and while yes, Team Liquid has secured the top spot, C9 has now locked a playoff spot. So they're in. Now they're playing best of 5.
I won the bet with Azael when they were 1-5, and I said they were going to make playoffs.
And we're both equally wrong about being under 9
still
wins.
more wrong.
Equally wrong.
Mark, definitely more wrong
never
on
turned
the
down
way under. But I think we have
under.
to talk about this Cloud9 squad and their ability to contest for an NALCS Summer Championship at this point, because while they still sit a couple games back of Team Liquid, the recent performance, and specifically from this roster, I mean, it's second to none, really.
No one is hotter than Cloud9 right now. They're 2-0 over Team Liquid in their last 9 games. They've won 8 of 9. They can still get a playoff bye. If they win out, they get to play a tiebreaker game against 100 Thieves, and that's assuming that 100 Thieves beats Object tomorrow. So they've gone from last place to maybe a playoff bye in the second half.
That's nuts. Mark, any final thoughts here?
If you're a C9 fan, time to stop being such a downer on the subreddit and start getting excited, because it looks like C9 World's Hope is back alive.
Something is working in that Cloud9 camp. To hear more about that game, though, let's send it down to Avali and Cloud9's head coach.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with both Reapert and Joanne. Reapert, congratulations. 7 wins in a row with this roster. At the end of week 3, when you guys are 1-5, did you expect to be here?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Why not? Yeah.
You were just confident this entire time. I mean, how were you able to pull off all of these crazy roster swaps with people swapping in and out?
트랜스레이트 하는 거 아니었어요?
해요?
네.
네. 이렇게 어떻게 이거 지금 윈 스트릭이잖아요. 로스터 체인지 어떻게 이렇게 잘 됐어요?
저는 로스터 수업을 하면서 이제 아카데미 선수들을 많이 발굴을 해냈고, 그 과정에서 선수들이 시너지가 맞는 선수들이 좀 있어가지고 계속 기용을 하다 보니까 이제 연습 경기가 그 전에도 항상 잘 나오곤 있었는데, 그게 좀 이제 페이드 오프를 받는 게 아닌가 싶습니다.
So throughout the split, during practices, during scrims, we've always had really good results. But as we kept practicing, as we kept scrimming, we found a couple players who had really good synergy with each other. And then we just, kept having those players play together and building up that synergy. And now we think that it's all paying off.
Coming into playoffs, are you going to be taking full advantage of the 7-man roster with the 2 subs?
Yeah, why not? That's our strength for now.
Why is it your strength?
Because we can swap the rosters, we can use different champions pool, and also Blaber and Jensen don't have to wombo, combo, Jillian, Kindred every game, but they still have to considering about it in the draft page. So yeah, against like every team against us, they have to like keep thinking about who's gonna next the game player and who's versus it roster and how we can prepare it against these 2 rosters.
And looking back over this entire split, is there anything that you as a coach would have done differently?
이거는 통역을 해야 될 것 같아요.
네.
이번 시즌은 이제 지난 2년 동안 뭔가 우리 팀이 기본기가 없었다라는 생각을 해본 적이 한 번도 없었는데, 네, 지난 시즌을 실패하고 나서 우리 팀이 기본이 잘 안 되어 있었구나, 내가 너무 앞만 보고 달려갔구나 싶어서 이번 시즌은 정말 밑바닥부터 차근차근 준비하면서 처음부터 지금까지 갈고 닦아왔다라는 느낌으로 코칭을 스타일을 바꿨던 것 같아요.
So over the past 2 years, we never really thought that we were at a disadvantage. We always thought we were looking forward to win. We were always like, we're gonna win, we're gonna do well, right? But we just thought, last season we didn't do as well, and this split we kind of had to start from the ground up, and so I had to change my coaching style to kind of adapt to this new team.
How would you say your coaching style changed?
Like start from beginning, the basic stuffs, vision control, like side wave control, laning pace, everything starts from beginning. I was like thinking about, our team is the old, even the veteran players are the newbies. They're all the new. I have to coaching them from the beginning. That was the huge difference from past 2 years.
And all your work paid off. Reaper, thank you so much. And for everyone else, it's time for a quick break. But when we return, Optic Gaming and TSM load onto the Rift for a brawl that could determine their playoff hopes. The Lounge will be live for that match, so join